welcome to Nerdsplaining Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me, as always, my co-host, Jose Mero.
Greetings, salutations, New Year, Happy New Year, my nerd brethren out there. We're back, first show of the year, dude. It's been a
This is the
while, some holiday
first
season gets in the way.
first show of our official Weekend Geek of 2024. Super excited. For no other reason than now I look like a human being because I have a lighting system. The show's doing so well, I can afford lighting.
Santa Claus was nice too. Santa Claus likes nerds too, man. Let's not forget
Yeah,
that.
yeah, we get it. We get little moments. We get little moments in the sun.
Exactly.
Shines real nice. Listen. I'm very excited because 2023 ended in a fantastic fashion for me because my son, 10 years old, got into Marvel Strike Force, and now he cares about the X-Men. And I am here for it. It was a perfect year to get into it. We got X-Men 97 coming out this year, Deadpool 3, so many great things. We're going to be talking about that. We got so much stuff to talk about. We're going to talk about that.
And I love New Year because it's like, listen, we know that the trajectory these studios are going, but despite that, there's hope. New Year, turn the page, clean slate, right? Everything's going to be right again. Boy, were we wrong about that, at least in my opinion. We're definitely wrong about that. Same old for the most part. But we'll get to all that. I know we haven't planned this, but you mentioned it before. But, there's one big thing that happened. Not how big it is, but
Not big.
Not big, but listen, Zack Snyder's a name that draws a lot of attention, right?
Right.
Obviously for good or bad, depending on who you ask. Fair enough. Very divisive. Obviously, the big movie finally dropped one of two parts, Rebel Moon, which it's gotten a lot of views on Netflix. Was done pretty well with that. So fair enough. Whether you like it or not, it's been very divisive, and the ratings were very bad on that film. But I gave it a shot because I do like him. He's not great, but I do like him. He does some good things. So I'll start with you, Eric. You saw the first part. Were the critics right? Was the reception correct in your opinion?
Well, the way I see it is that when Rebel Moon came out, Zack Snyder was like, new IP, who this? And I watched it, I was like, oh, dumb dude. That's what this is. This movie is like, for anyone who says, Kathleen Kennedy doesn't know what she's doing. Yes, she did, because she said no to this twice. So I know that A New Hope is based on Hidden Fortress, but this is straight up an edgy 13-year-old's version of Seven Samurai. It is, listen, we just talked about this before we started. I'm like, all right, let's see Zack Snyder. This is pure, uncut Colombian Zack Snyder. It is the purest of the pure. What do you give us? And he starts out with space vagina. And I'm like, all right, here we go. This is going to be what it's going to be. And it literally was like every new jerk fan who's like, Star Wars sucks. And he goes, really? Really, Rebel Moon is the answer to, if you're so good at it, you do it. And we saw it, and it makes us go, maybe George Lucas knows what he's doing a little bit sometimes. Because it is, it's not bad because visually it's stunning. It's bad because it doesn't make any sense. And for a bunch of adults in space, they act like sim characters. They're just hanging around going, what do I do now? Oh, I dance. All right, like it's really it is to call it superficial is an offense to the Kardashians. It is really what he did in 2 hours could have been done expertly in 25 minutes if you wanted to. And listen, I don't know if you saw this other Star Wars movie called Rogue One, but they introduced a whole cast of characters, and you got to know all their backstories, and it was, what's the word? Oh, yeah, interesting. It was interesting, and it kept pace, and you're excited about it. If you had no continuity, you should have knocked this out of the park. You could have used the idea of what a universe is as shorthand to get to your point, give more characterization. You did none of that. All you did was like, isn't this cool? Yeah, why is it happening? Isn't this cool? Like, no, it's not. I can't. No, even my kids are like, so is this going to finish soon? Like, yeesh. All right, so that is, and they like Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. So for them to be bored, yikes, dude.
No,
yikes.
Agreed. Listen, this is not a good movie. It's not.
No.
This is the best and the worst of Zack Snyder, right? And you got the visuals, which he's always good at. Let's just be clear, right?
Stunning.
That's never an issue. That's it's up there. It's the forefront. Looks nice, great. You got great sets, whatever. Fine. You have all that slow motion. What else is new? Fine, whatever.
Me and my kids had it. I had to make it a game just to keep them interested. They said every time we see slow motion, you get another scoop of ice cream. We killed 3 cartons. We killed 3 cartons of ice cream.
Just wait till 2021, dude. Talk about drinking game heaven right there.
I mean, they're like, this is the best movie ever. Only because I'm bribing you, and you're not going to be able to feel your toes in 6 weeks.
And it's still 1 out of 10. But yeah, the story it's boring. And I was talking about this on watch list about we talk about the movie, but there's like a 6-minute exposition scene. When she's in a fire camp, by the fire, talking with a guy, and just
right, which is literally giving her backstory in piecemeal.
Minutes.
Right,
it's too long. It's just like, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. It's not a good film. I am curious to this his Snyder cut, whatever is out there.
His edgy cut.
The edgy cut. I hear
this is more hardcore.
I hear it's completely different. Whatever. I am curious to see what that's like.
It's the same exact movie, except everyone is naked. That's the only difference.
Which is, hey, I'll take that. But yeah,
I won't. I don't need.
Look, it's not a good film.
Space Dawn.
It's not good. It's not well done. It's a disappointment.
Here's what made me mad. The aliens in his cantina scene looked cooler and more interesting than the characters we hung out with in the movie.
Yeah. No, it's just very. It's a bore. I was bored. I was like. And it didn't have great action scenes, which Snyder does, generally speaking, right? Despite everything else, even Sucker Punch is a terror movie. It had cool looking shit.
Visually, stunning.
Cool looking shit and a cool scene. Fine. This doesn't even have that. It had one cool little big in the inch, which he in the barn, saving that girl for getting raped. That was
right,
cool.
Right,
cool.
Right.
That was neat. And
sure.
That's it. Because even the climax, shootout.
You know what?
It was very uninspired. It's dull.
What bothered me with the action sequences is it did that thing that is the thing that I always feel holds back John Wick action scenes, where John has to hold the guy in a position so he can reload. So you have to kind of have that brief suspension of disbelief that while he's reloading, someone's not going to try to take a swing at him. But it was like that while in slow motion. And I'm like, that makes no sense. Like, it should be faster because it's in slow mo. Why? Like, I don't...
I mean, I'll watch part 2 because I want to see how bad it gets because I have no confidence.
I mean, but at this point, we're watching it to see. It's like slowing down to see a train wreck.
Right, you have to stop and take a look. And if it's like in the theater, I wouldn't go see it.
No, not at all.
But it's Netflix or whatever. I'll pop it in and with a short leash. Short leash.
How much cooler would it have been if the crew was that alien that was like using that dude as a puppet and that chick with those like all dark with the light eyes and the circle, like. That would have been like a visual crew. I would have been in, and it would have felt a lot more interesting.
It was truncated. You can tell some things are editing floor that need to be in this movie. But out of part 1 or part 2, and it's already 2.5 hours. It's just, he doesn't know how to control himself, right? His movies are 4 hours long. They don't have to be that long. He's not a good storyteller. He's not a good storyteller.
Stop letting Zack Snyder be part of the story making process.
Yeah.
Just get him to direct.
Exactly.
Just direct. Write a story.
Write a good story. And let him. He can direct. He can't. We shouldn't do a good movie.
He can.
He's done.
I was like, let him direct.
We've seen it.
But he's not allowed to touch or comment on the story.
Yeah.
Just direct.
Exactly. I mean, I would like to say this is just not good. And it's his brainchild. And there's one of the few decisions Kathleen Kennedy got right. Go for it. She's shit, but she does some good things. I've said that many times. This is passing on this was one of them. Clearly.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. So we'll talk about part 2 because we're gonna watch it. We know we are.
It's gonna happen.
We're gonna watch. We'll talk about it. Listen, maybe it's some miracle. It ends good. Whatever. I have no faith. Not at this point. Not in that film anyway.
Yeah, me neither.
But that being said, it's just like I said. There's other war stuff coming out. But let's start with this. So we talked about Thunderbolts coming out, right?
Yes.
I think. I know it got delayed to 2025, whatever the case is.
2025, yeah.
Right, we talked about Stephen Young, of course, from Walking Dead, was hired, cast as Sentry, right? Which
a secret casting that everyone already knew about, and then Robert Kirkland confirmed.
He let it out, hit the cat out of the bag, and whatever.
Right.
Like you say, he doesn't care. He doesn't work for Marvel. Kudos to you. He was confirmed to be Sentry. I don't think you and I agreed that Sentry should be in Thunderbolts, right? I think we had the discussion like did it kind of make sense for who he is and what the Thunderbolts are, but. Nonetheless, he backed out for scheduling reasons, perhaps.
That's what they say.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they rewrote some stuff. Maybe they came to their senses and there is no Sentry. But he's out, and you already see that in Marvel. And he did quote. He was quoted as saying he still wants to do a Marvel film if they're not upset or not upset at him for dumping these guys.
Well, it really, if it is scheduling, and from what I hear,
it's possible. Very possible.
It's very. Yeah. I'm hearing very much. It is literally a scheduling issue. They try to work out of it, even to the point that I heard from my people. I heard that the guy who they got to rewrite the Thunderbolts, which is the guy who wrote Beef, which is Steven Nizan as well, he kind of like beefed up the Sentry parts a little more to really give Steven more to work with, which I thought was really cool. So it really sucks to have that sort of like, hey, we're giving you a little bit more of the nice surgery here, so you can really get some stuff to do. Now it's taken away. So it sucks. That being said, if you are a comic book purist, Sentry was ever Asian. So I didn't care either way. I'm always like that there's nothing about that character that has to be a blonde Caucasian dude. That being said, now that he's off the table, like Yoon, not the Sentry, I would love to see the dude who plays Reacher and Hawk be the Sentry, because that's what the Sentry's built like. That dude's not going to be Batman.
I don't want to see that. I have to object.
Really?
Because
really,
I would never believe that anybody could beat a Reacher. I'm just not gonna buy it, dude. I'm not buying it. I'm not. You're not gonna fool me like that. It's not gonna happen. So I can't. That's not happening.
Here's the thing.
And not the Thunderbolts, for Christ's sake. And
I will believe it if the other people die in the process to do it. Like if you stop Reacher, like 6 of your friends are going down, but you'll stop him.
He's got to get rid of at least 3/4 of the Thunderbolts for this to even be remotely believable. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, let's be honest. Based on that lineup, that sounds totally doable. That sounds totally doable.
It is what it is, dude. We got to just give respect what it's due. I did hear people wanting Ryan Gosling, which makes perfect sense.
I like Ryan Gosling too.
I like Ryan Gosling,
but
and he'd be great.
If you see Sentry in the comics, he's built like the dude.
But yeah, I mean, let's see what happens. But he's out. I'm sure they get someone in. But I did hear Stevie Young might replace Jonathan Majors on Kang. No, I'm just kidding. He may. I don't know.
That is a variant.
Whatever. I know we didn't talk about. There's no point. It happened so long, weeks ago.
Yeah.
We knew that was coming. Well,
we know. Our last show we talked about. We'll see. And guess what? We saw.
And it's funny because I remember I text you. I'm getting a side note, but I text you, so much for Kang, whatever, because the news was dropped where he was, found guilty of misdemeanors, but he's still found guilty nonetheless.
Right.
And not even 5 minutes later, bam, next story. Disney drops, they were just ready. It was like that send button, guilty, send, and it was that quick because they were
Disney
ready for it.
Had the drop notice the way newspapers pre-write people or celebrities are going to die.
Yeah,
we got the whole ready to go. Can't believe it. Yeah,
they knew they had it ready to go. I think, in honesty, not to get too much into the weeds here, but I think they wanted this to happen. I don't think they're wanting. If they stick with Kang, fine. But if they don't stick with Kang, I think this is a blessing.
It gives them now an out to limit the amount of Kang they have to do.
Exactly.
And that's a good out for them.
That's a good out for them. So I think they were itching for it. So whatever. But we'll once that's decided, because I haven't really said anything about the future Kang or whatever, or Avengers 5, whatever they're calling it.
Right.
Whatever. But for now, he's out. We know that. We're gonna do the big four. We got the four major food groups today. I forgot to mention that. We got Marvel, Sony, DC, and Star Wars, right? Marvel. Let's go to the Sony here, the next food group. So I guess Sony has some kind of presentation recently. They just kind of get some title work of the films coming out this year, Ghostbusters and whatever, and Madam Web and God, Madam Web. Craven the Hunter. But one of them was Venom 3. And they released the title, and I guess the rumors are, and I'll ask you for info. I guess the 401, this character that the 3 was the Venom 3, the number 3 spelled. It looks like it might be something pertaining to somebody called oh my God, what's the variant's name? Oh my God, I totally forgot.
No.
Oh man, not Titan. Who's this guy? Nah, man. There's another symbiote that he's supposed to fight.
Shriek, Scream, Bedlam.
This is embarrassing.
It really is.
It really is. That's what I mean.
Listen, I'm here to pontificate. There's so many. I don't know.
Fair enough. Let me see. Put a Venom 3 villain. That's mad bad, folks. And I had my tongue in.
Screech.
Let me see here. No, not Screech. That's Saved by the Bell. Dude, no, I'm just kidding. That'd be cool.
Still works. Still works.
Toxin. There you go. Toxin.
Toxin.
There you go. Sorry about that, folks. Sorry. That's on me. Yeah. So Toxin is rumored to be the next villain in Venom 3. Yet another symbiote. And I'm thinking, I don't know who Toxin is. Please advise. And is there any other villain besides symbiotes?
There are
Venom
so many
fight?
better villains.
I mean,
listen. The first one, you have the first gen symbiotes. That's cool. Second one, Carnage. Obviously,
Makes
you
sense.
had to do Carnage.
Fine.
Had to.
Fair.
But you could do. Here's the thing. Does Venom fight a lot of symbiotes? Yes, absolutely. It is part of his whole deal. His whole bag. But there are cooler versions of other symbiotes other than Toxin. I was hoping they would do Null, the symbiote god of nothing, and they would have called Venom 3. How much cooler would this title be? Venom 3, The King in Black.
That's interesting.
That was a major Venom storyline that really made Venom, like, it elevated Venom from, like, a Spider-Man character to, like, his own. Now it's Venom and, like, the Venom verse. Like, it really established. I wanted that. To get Toxin, it's sort of like, it's like you are 12 years old and you're getting really close to being able to watch a PG-13 movie, but they're making you watch a kid movie one more time. I'm like, what are you doing this? Like, maybe it's because Sony, Marvel, Disney is like, we want to do King in Black, so you can't do it. We want to. I don't know. But here's the thing. Even if it's Toxin, if you don't have Spider-Man, you failed.
Well,
At this point, Venom 3, if you don't have Spider-Man, you failed.
Yeah,
I don't care who you do.
You're right.
You need a better thing. Here's the thing. Venom is supposed to be a Clintock species from the planet Clintock. Go to that planet, man. So if you're going to do Toxin, let's go to the planet. Or let's have that planet make contact to try to invade Earth. There's a storyline in the Mighty Avengers where Dr. Doom synthesized his own symbiotes and dropped symbiote bombs on New York, and everyone became a symbiote. That's dope. Do something like that. I don't need just one more guy. Like, go balls to the wall. If this is your third one more dude.
Yeah, it just seems like it's like a rehash, just rinse and repeat.
Yeah.
I mean, no, it would have been cool. What they should have done, honestly, and is maybe instead of doing a standalone Craven film, Craven should have been the antagonist in the part 3. Him going after Venom, that would have been cool, and introducing you to Craven, and you can spin off to a movie if he felt like it, if he tested well. That would have been more interesting. This is just like, again.
Or here's another thing too. In the Spider-Man comics, Norman Osborn figures out a way to make his own symbiote that can nullify and neutralize symbiotes, and so he creates his own character called Anti-Venom. That would have been fun too.
That sounds more interesting.
Anti-Venom that's super dope, man. So like, there's so many cool things they could have done. So that if it's just Toxin, it's like,
That's what I'm saying. And listen, we know it's late this year. We know we're relying upon the shoulders of Sony to carry the geek world this year, right? Because they got the 3 major releases and Deadpool. That's all we have this year.
That's it. All we got is
Deadpool,
the 4 films, and X-Men 97, but that's for TV.
That's TV, right?
Movies, all we got. Dune 2, and Deadpool. And that's it.
Fine, but it's just superhero films, comic book films, right?
Oh yeah, superhero, straight superhero, Deadpool.
We got 4 films, Deadpool, and 3 songs. So
that's it.
You know, Craven doesn't look great. Madam Web didn't look great, and now Venom doesn't sound great. It may look great in a trailer. I haven't seen the trailer yet, to be fair, but man, this is, I don't know. This is to me, it's lazy. That's what it's lazy.
It's a little bit.
It's a little bit late, right? So what? I mean, Sony. Should we really be surprised? Maybe.
That's the problem. Is that they keep letting us know, hey, we're gonna hurt you. Yeah, we're gonna let you down every step of the way.
This is gonna be a brutal year for Sony. It really is. Let's move on.
Sony Pictures. We're crying. Is the point.
And notice the absence of DC in that we got Sony, Marvel, and that's it. But we are going to talk a little DC here because DC's ramping up, right? They got production Superman coming up pretty soon.
Right.
I guarantee we're getting a trailer by the time Comic-Con rolls around.
Hopefully.
Maybe a short trailer, but we're going to get a trailer. I got a feeling.
Something.
Scissor reel, whatever you want to call it, right? But either way, so news just dropped about Supergirl. You know that's one of the films that James Gunn had mentioned was going to be
based
part
off
of the slate.
Tom King's incredible Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow miniseries graphic novel. If you haven't read it, buy it. It is great.
I heard it's really good, yeah. But I guess they finally narrowed down the search for Supergirl to 3 young ladies. They're all 23 years old, so they're going for a much younger look. Fine.
Good.
Nice.
Cool.
And the first one is, of course, Millie Alcock, who is from Game of Thrones.
Oh,
The main character, I guess, and the first iteration of that character. I know they had a couple of versions of her as she grew older.
right.
So the first one. The second one's Emilia Jones. She was in Coda, the Apple movie that won the Oscar.
Oh, I never saw it. I heard it's great though.
It's really good, and she was in Lock and Key. If people have seen that on Netflix.
Oh, I did watch Lock and Key.
Okay, well, the main girl, the sister.
Yeah,
that's
she's
her.
great. I know you're talking about.
She's good. I like her. And then Meg Donnelly, which I'm not familiar with what she's done. A few things. I guess she does the voice work for Supergirl. Some of the animated stuff.
Okay.
She's done a couple of things, but nothing I've seen, just whatever. So those are the three, and like, okay, it sounds fine. It's kind of interesting how they're all very young, small women, very thin. I was hoping to get some a little more,
you know,
a little muscular, I think, to some degree.
No, I actually like that. I like the thin, and I'll tell you why I like the thin. It's because her strength is not immediately visible, but her presence puts out the strength she has.
Okay.
So if you have someone who but this is if you're gonna go thin framed Supergirl, that charisma, that owning the room has to be there.
That's what I'm saying. She has a screen presence. You have to really exactly when she walks
really
into the room,
do.
like, oh shit, you got a superhero, right?
Absolutely.
Like Gal Gadot did really well with that in the Wonder Woman, right? You felt her like, that's her. Right?
But also, she's stunningly beautiful.
Well,
so
that helps.
Supergirl is beautiful, but she's nowhere near a Gal Gadot Wonder Woman level.
No. And listen, the girls are fine. I mean, the Meg girl, I don't know, she's cute, and then the one from Lock and Key, she's cute, whatever.
She's cute, yeah.
The one from Game of Thrones, not so much. It is to her cousin or whoever this guy was.
Gross.
But I mean, I guess we'll see which one lands. I mean, I don't have any favorites here. I don't care. But it's interesting that now they're finally casting. We're seeing this come to fruition. 2 years we're gonna get the ground running, dude. With DC, it's their time. It better be the time, right?
Listen, Jesus. I will say, if you're reading DC Comics right now, there are some great comics that they're doing called The Dawn of DC, specifically to work in collaboration with setting the tone for the movies.
Oh, really? Okay.
So if the movies are half as good as what's coming out comic book wise, I think we're in for a really good treat. I mean, they just relaunched Birds of Prey, and it's great. If you're not reading Birds of Prey, the new one that comes out for Dawn of DC, it's so much fun. The artist is dynamic and eye-catching, and it's very street level. Like, as I was reading this run right now, I'm on issue 3 of 5 right now, so they could just I'm still catching up. I was late to the game, but I'm excited about it. I'm like, this should have been the movie. In the first arc, you have Black Canary, you have Harley Quinn, you have Cassandra Cain, the Batgirl ninja, and you have Big Barda, which is one of the new gods, who's as strong as like Orion or Darkseid. That's the team. And I'm like, that's dope. And they have to sneak into Themyscira, and Big Barda goes head to head with Wonder Woman. Like, I'm like, this is what I would love for a Birds of Prey movie. So if this is what they're going to go for, I'm in. If you're not reading right now, read it too.
Yeah, if a lot of new stories coming out that they can draw from, that bodes well. Because we said 1,000 times, they need to come guns blazing, and they know that. There's no other way around it. It's gone blazing.
They've actively said they want the comics to feel more like the new Guns movies. And if this is what they're going for, I'm excited.
Okay, good. Well, that's looking forward to that. So we'll see. Again, this is going to be an interesting year in Comic-Con in terms of, I really want to, I'm so fascinated about the Superman, what we're going to get from Superman, what it looks like, what it feels like, right? I know. Talk about fresh beginnings. This is it's key. If they bomb that shit at Comic-Con, this is a wrap before the movie comes out, right? It'll be dead on arrival, imagine.
Do not drop the ball.
That's what I'm saying. Come on, come with it. Give us a good trailer. Whatever you're going to do, give us something to sink our teeth into.
If James Gunn screw this up from now on for the rest of my life, James Gunn nickname is going to be New Year's Eve because he dropped the ball, and it's going to be straight forever and ever. I love your Guardians of the Galaxy, but your DC stuff 10, 9, 8 all the time.
Straight to one, man. Straight to one. Let's go to the fourth major food group, and you can't ever forget about this one, and that's Star Wars, of course. Lucasfilm making some different announcements, some interesting announcements here. We'll start with this before we get into the other stuff. So, they announced officially that this the Mandalorian film, Mando and Grogu, is going to be released in the big screen. That's actually going to be it's wrapping into development, right? The first movie to come out, apparently. I found it odd because they said a few weeks ago, I don't think you and I talked about it, that, the Rey movie is going to be the first one into development. So something's.
I knew that wasn't gonna happen.
Well,
I knew it was
clearly,
gonna happen.
but it's just kind of typical, Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, that make announcements they're not ready to make yet. Whatever.
Well, I think it's because at that time, what's his name? Not
Filoni.
John Favreau, but
Filoni.
Filoni. Filoni wasn't in complete control yet, and now that he is, he's like, whoa, we're gonna do it like this,
right? But it just shows like this lack of planning in there, right? It typifies what's going on, right? Same old, New Year, here we go again. I mean, it'd be a big deal at the end of the day, but it is what it is. They also we'll talk Mandalorian in a second, but they also announced, I guess, officially Ahsoka 2 coming out. Right. People kind of forgot about that and what's going on with that. So whatever. Rey aside, we'll do a Rey later. Okay, that's gonna come out later. But first, let's start with Mandalorian. I mean, now it's a film, right?
Right.
I guess
as it should have been.
I guess there was rumblings that there's going to be like a Mandoverse film, right, tying all this in. That's not the case. This is strictly just Mando, which I find interesting. I don't know about a season 4 of Mando, if that's coming or not. Nothing's announced, so I don't know.
Maybe after the movie.
Maybe.
And after this movie, and maybe after the big team movie, then you get a Mando 4.
I guess, yeah. I'm not sure. I did hear something that there is also in development at the same time. That concerns me. Because make a movie. Don't worry about setting up next season. Right. Make a damn movie. I don't want to set up.
Right.
I don't want homework to go watch the next Mandalorian season. I don't want that. So I'm afraid of that. But I heard those rumblings. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just what I hear. But take it for face value. It's coming out. I guess it's a good idea. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's Star Wars.
Here's my problem with making the movie now. This is my problem making the movie now. You killed Moff Gideon. Well, Moff Gideon would have been a great movie back then.
No, you're right. Agreed. Yeah, I'm not sure where you go from here. You
still have the pirates. You have the pirates,
but is that movie? But that's not really movie worthy per se, right? I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's not, you can kind of go the historical cheesy route, which is like there's a Mandalorian Civil War. I mean, you could do that too.
I guess. It's interesting. I'm curious because I just. A sniff of a setup for season 4. I really don't want that. I'm hoping that's not the case. I don't want to see it.
I think it's gonna be like I'm okay with it setting up for season 4 as long as the movie's good. Like the movie can't be dependent. Like now go watch season 4. Like the movie's got to be great.
It's got to be a complete story. It's got to be a complete story. Like if I swear to God,
story. It's got to be a complete
story. There's a fucking stupid cliffhanger, and they make you watch it.
I got it. I got it.
Hit me.
You make Mando John Wick in Star Wars. They kidnap Grogu, and he goes on a tear.
I wouldn't mind that.
A tear.
I wouldn't mind that.
Wouldn't that be great?
I think that'd
be great, right?
Keep something simple.
Mando's John Wick in Star Wars?
I'm fine with that.
Give me the check. I'll write it. I know this. I got it.
Bring in Keanu Reeves, dude. Forget about it. Forget about Pedro Pascal. Nobody cares, dude. He's doing his own thing. He's Reed Richards. Go have fun. That's how you do it. But listen, it's interesting. Again, the movement of reshuffling and stuff is always a concern. It's a red flag. It may not mean anything, but it's a red flag. And even like something like I just mentioned with Ahsoka too, right? Is this really the right move? Let's be honest. It wasn't greatly received. The ratings were not good. And every episode just subsequently got worse and worse. Why you...
Well, I actually say the other way. I think it got better after episode 4. I actually got it. I thought it went up. For my opinion. That's just me.
In terms of quality, that's whatever is debatable. But as far as the viewership, it just dropped all.
The viewership did drop. I thought the quality got better, but that's just
maybe people saying yes and no, whatever. It's fine. But just the viewership, which is the most important part, right?
Here's what I think. I'm actually more confident of a season 2 as opposed to a Ahsoka movie. If they announce a Ahsoka movie, I'm like, that's kind of a bad one because
that would be terrible.
You didn't really solidify that fan base. But if you do a season 2 that knocks it out of the park, then I'm like, that's why you did season 2. But sort of coalesce everything.
This goes back to like Marvel's trying to correct their issues with the TV stuff, right? Like moving forward. I think Lucasfilm needs to do the same because listen, when shows get canceled and all that, there's a lot of shows that don't want to get canceled, but they do it because nobody watches it. Fair, it is what it is. It's a business, right? And he's like, Disney is going against all conventional wisdom. So listen, this show was not watched. It's bad business. Why are you continuing to double down on a show nobody really cared about, nobody was really watching, and you do another season? It just doesn't make sense, right? It's just like this is Filoni trying to flex his muscle, and I have my issues with Filoni.
I don't think he's trying. I think he's trying to
establish something that nobody wants to see.
I disagree. I think people didn't want to see it, but they felt lost, and he's like, I know how to tell you. I know how to make you care about the story. So let me do this without any Kathleen Kennedy over me. Let me do this.
Let's assume it's really good, right? Let's assume that, which we know
Right.
it's not. But
Let's assume.
Sure. No one's gonna watch it anywhere. People are very finicky.
I disagree. I think good word of mouth.
There's a reason why Marvel and DC are struggling. It's just you keep giving them crap. They're gonna stop going. At some point, I have enough. We saw Mando 3, very bad ratings in comparison to the previous seasons.
But Loki got so much word of mouth. The ratings started going up as the season went over. For Loki 2,
which is fair.
Yeah.
But people.
So good word of mouth.
But it's still open. It's still open big. When you open big, it's happening in box office. Right? Say a movie opens at $100 million and makes $700 million, right? A movie opens at $10 million, it's making.
Oh, but here's the thing: you got to make with the movie you make. You got to be financially smart about it too. Stop making $300 million movies.
Oh no, it's just talking about numbers. Like just an example. Let's assume nobody wants to go see a movie and it makes $10 million opening weekend, right? Fine, and then people love it. Everyone loves it. It's only make $50 million at the end of the day, at best, right? And that's what I'm saying, right? Because you're starting from a low point. So Ahsoka is going to start from a low point, and maybe it builds up, it gets great. It's going to end up with ratings below even the first season because it's starting so low.
We don't know that.
Loki started high.
Loki started high, dropped, and then picked up because of word of mouth.
But Loki started because people like the first season, they jumped in the second season.
But even the second season started off lower than the first season. But it picked up because of word of mouth.
But not by much.
But that's what I'm saying.
But that was a liked show. Now we're taking a show nobody liked. Why am I going to watch a show no one liked, right? Like, I'll put this, Rebel Moon, for example, we talked about that. It was not well received. That movie won't have the same viewership. It just won't. Because and that's the point. It's going to start at a lower point. Maybe it's better. Oh, Rebel Moon Part 2 is great. No one's going to care. It's too late.
Yeah.
Right? The damage was done. That's what I'm saying. Ahsoka's damage may have already been done. Why are we doubling down? I don't get it. I don't know. It seems odd choice to me. But it's Disney. It's Kathleen Kennedy. No one should be surprised. We should not be surprised.
I think it's because the Ahsoka IP and the Star Wars IP and certain characters, they have the potential to be jump started up again. But you got to do it right.
They got to,
if they drop the ball this time, then there's nothing.
And that's contingent that these next couple of shows are good. Because imagine if the Skeleton Crew is not good, and what's the other one? The Acolyte's not good.
Right.
That doesn't help Ahsoka, right? Because now
it doesn't help Ahsoka at all. It doesn't help the brand at all.
Right, that's what I'm saying, right? So now it's relying on that. If those are bad, it's even worse to do a part. Why not wait to see how those shows do before you start jumping into the waters with a part 2 of Ahsoka when the fan base may not give a shit? And that's my point, right? They just slow it down. You can make Ahsoka in 2 years. You have to make it right now. It's fine.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. When it comes to planning and executing things properly, plan properly, let's see how these shows are doing, and then we'll decide. Everyone loves Skeleton Crew. Great. Everyone loves Acolyte. What's next? Boom. Right. Ahsoka. Right?
You build that hype up.
Absolutely. Exactly. Right now, we don't know. They're going to push forward the show. If those shows aren't good, then who cares, right? No one's going to... Listen, we like some of these other DC films as an example. They didn't do well regardless because nobody gave a fuck. Right?
Right.
The opening weekend was bad for a reason. Not because the movie's quality is bad or good.
Absolutely.
Because nobody's interested in watching. And that's the point. So, let's see. I mean, whatever. I have no faith that Star Wars has been letting me down. It's just very upsetting with Star Wars.
I know. Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
After Obi-Wan, I know you were hurt.
Right, so it's like
Obi-Wan hurt you. I get it.
You got to win me back, right, in the good way. And
I get it.
So let's see.
I get it.
Maybe they can. Hopefully, let's see. But stay tuned for that. So now let's end off the show because I know they don't spend a lot of time today. Let's talk about our dearest Marvel, and we got Echo, the first show 2024, a show which you and I thought initially was going to be, it's all red flags everywhere, right?
We heard all the bad things.
All the issues.
Your contacts, my contacts, all the bad things.
Bad and releasing all at once. That's never a good sign. And rewrites.
Never a good sign.
Cut short. Or what? Then it's 5 episodes. It all sounded bad, right? We saw the trailer. Okay. It looks interesting.
Surprising.
Okay, this may not be that bad. Look very dark. Oh, dark, edgy, whatever.
I mean, I'm always there for that. Yeah.
Mature rating.
For characters who deserve it. Yeah. For characters who deserve it. Dark energy works for characters who deserve it.
Agreed, right? The show should have lent itself to that.
And right before they dropped, they officially announced all the Netflix shows are part of Marvel canon. So that built up the hype again. Like, oh, so now Daredevil counts? Okay, let's see what you got. So it enticed people even more.
You know where I'm going with this, so I'm gonna let you go first.
I know where I'll go. We both know where each other's going.
I honestly don't know where you're going with this. I really don't. So you know what? I can tell now.
I know where you're going.
But
I get.
Go ahead. I have no idea what you're gonna say. We haven't talked about it, and I'm so curious to see. I assume you saw all 5 episodes, of course.
I saw 5 episodes.
Okay. So I'm gonna give you the floor. Echo, season 1. Your thoughts.
My fellow gentle nerds. The first episode gave us Daredevil, and it got me so excited. I was like, "This is cool." They did their own version of a one-shot track. I'm like, "This is exciting." The first 15 minutes of the movie was essentially a massive recap of Echo's entire story
Basically.
thus far. I was like, "Oh my god!" I was getting more and more excited. Saw Daredevil, and I was like, "Oh, cool!" And Daredevil was doing it there, and I'm like, "It's actually Charlie Cox. This is more exciting." And Charlie Cox and her are fighting. I'm like, "This is really cool." And then at one point of the fight, she looks away, and when she looks back, he's gone. And it cuts to the Kingpin going, "You did a very good job. You held your own more than any one of my agents ever have." And I was like, "But what happened to Daredevil? Like, the cops never showed up, and he didn't beat her, and she didn't beat him. He just disappeared." And much like my interest, I kept wondering, where did it go? It was here a minute ago, and the more I'm watching this, the less there is. It just magically disappeared for no reason. What's going? By the time that they said their version of Echo is not a girl who can see a way someone does something physically and is able to imitate it, in essence, echoing their movements. Right. It was, we are the echoes of the past. I literally said, no, that's not who Echo is. Marvel, you own the character. It's not like the old days where you're like, "Oh, wow, I can't believe the studio did this." That's not what they're. You own the character. It's all yours. There is no, and then she's getting healing powers. I'm like, where is this coming from? And listen, I actually liked the ancestral thing. I thought that was really cool. I was like, oh, this is a little bit of like Asgardian magic, a little bit of like even the Watchmen where you're showing things from the past. I was digging those. But when you put it like, oh, it's all this because of echoes of our ancestors, I was like, no. And then you did the most egregious thing ever. You gave her family the shared power. Sorry, Grandma, you don't get to have echo powers. You should have had echo powers. Never had it. You don't get it now. You especially don't get it to beat up a gang member with a gun to you. No. And then I appreciate the idea of let's heal the Kingpin. I appreciate that. But the way it looked sucked. The way, like her little meme on you, it looked like what kids do when they make up powers when you're wrestling them. Oh, force you! Like, what are you doing? Like, and then on top of all that, you get to the very end, and the Kingpin is on his plane, and he's going back to New York to address the families, and he hears the news talk about the mayoral race. You live in New York, Kingpin, and any New Yorker knows. If you live in New York, you are, even if you don't give a crap about politics, you know about politics because the mayor, the governor, all that affects Manhattan, the city you love so much. You should know. This should not be a surprise to you. So the fact that he got inspiration to become mayor in a cheesier way than Back to the Future gave Goldie Wilson inspiration to become a mayor. I could run for mayor. No. I like your ideas, but after the fight with Daredevil, your execution was like trying to domesticate a wild animal. Like, yes, he lives in your house, but he is not a broken beast. So he's going to eat and poop and scratch everything until you break him. And you didn't break him. You let him run rampant. Do whatever they want. Because, who am I to dictate how an animal lives his life? Then I'll bring him to the apartment. That's what you do. You did it. You know better than that. And if anything was proof of Marvel's broken system, let Echo be the corpse of what never to do again. fit.
Wow, I couldn't. I can't tell you how happy I am to hear you say those things because I was really concerned that you were going to talk positively about this show because I would have lost my mind. We don't always agree, and that's fine. That's cool. But I'm watching this show and thinking, oh my god, if Eric says he likes it, I swear to God, Nerdsplaining ends tonight.
I would resign. I would quit. I would no. Something's wrong with me.
I'm gonna echo, haha, your sentiments here. So yeah, dude, this show is a disaster. I mean, it's not the worst thing ever. But it's bad.
There were scenes.
There's some good stuff. There's some good stuff
here and there.
Here and there.
That I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
The cast is good. I like the cast. The fight scene in the roller rink was well done. I like that. But But the problem, I mean, yeah, 5 episodes with it was 2 fight scenes, 2 in the whole series. And this mature thing, nonsense. What mature? This was PG-13 at best. A little blood here and there, but it wasn't really the mature show we thought we were going to get. We were led to
Rebel Moon was more mature.
Oh my god, 1,000%. And you never have Rebel Moon on top of you of anything. And it's like this is mature. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever.
Like one dude gets shot bloody, but
that's
the rest.
That's it. No swearing. Punisher, right? The original Daredevil.
Punisher.
That's
watch
mature.
The Punisher series.
Exactly.
That's mature.
Right, and that show should have been that in terms of mature level, but it wasn't.
Absolutely.
Whatever. Fine. It doesn't make it good or bad because of that, but it doesn't help. But I start the beginning of the first episode, and I love seeing Daredevil. I do. But dude, I'm we talk about all the time. I love me some good martial arts, good action scenes, right?
Sure.
I look at that with a more careful eye. It looked nice. Presented nice, good camera work. I like all that stuff, but goddamn, there's moments where I literally went back and I paused because I couldn't believe what I was saying. Is it this me? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's late. I don't know. There's scenes where it was like wrestling, Western wrestling, where they are swinging and hitting each other, and I swear to God, the punches were like this far apart from any body part. I'm like, it go back. And then what happened when Daredevil? 2 scenes, but one that I think he was coming off. He gets his sticks and he swings and hits or whatever, and I pause it. It's like a foot apart. Maybe he swung and missed. That's fine. But then she goes, after that, she wasn't even hit it. And so many scenes in that fight were like that. I'm like, oh my god, what is this? What is it?
I'll do you one better. And this is when it was literally during that fight scene that I was like, this is a cool fight scene.
It looked good.
And like you said, we talked about the John Wick of things where sometimes you gotta pause your disbelief to see he could reload while holding a guy down. It takes a little longer, but like, okay, it's real, so we're gonna play with this.
You allow it.
So Daredevil, for the uninitiated, is blind.
Sure.
And because he's blind, he has heightened senses. So based on the senses, he knows where everything is in a 360. He knows what things are made out of. You cannot surprise, unless you're a ninja.
True. You
can't surprise him with things on your body because he could pick it up. When he hit her metal leg, I was like, why are you hitting her metal leg? You know it's metal. Yeah. This is not going to do anything unless you were trying to yank it off, which would have been awesome.
That's what I'm saying.
Didn't do that.
It's those little details that it's just so annoying, right? Which really make a good fight scene, right?
Absolutely.
Right? The look is one thing, editing, choreography, of course, but just the perceived reality of it, right? We know it's bullshit. Get it. Fine. Suspend disbelief. There's another scene where he jumps over the cage and she gets you guys a shotgun and shoots him, and she misses, right? He's in the air. I don't know how he dodged it, but a shotgun, people don't know, spreads.
It goes everywhere.
Right. He would have got hit.
I was like, he should have been hit by those blasts.
Of course. And I say kill the guy, but at least hit or something. It just...
Now, if it was a rifle, I understand.
Or even a handgun.
But she pulled out a shotgun.
Yeah, or a handgun. Fine. It was close range. It's impossible to miss.
Right.
You have to be blind there, though, to miss. And it's just like, what's going on? But whatever. But yeah, listen, the story is all over the place. I like the ancestral stuff, but it's not... It's like peppered in and out. You can tell there's a longer series, and there was a longer series here. There was.
Yes.
Obviously,
it was supposed to be 6 episodes, but they cut a whole episode out.
Right, which... Obviously, for reasons, probably wasn't good anyway with that, but it needed that, right? And the whole Kingpin didn't make any sense. Kingpin's like he's underground, right? He doesn't want his name out there, right? Obviously, and we have Fisk trucking and Fisk. What is this? His name is not going to be plastered everywhere. hello, it doesn't make any sense. It's just so juvenile. It's like, what are we doing
Like,
here?
like it should have been stuff like Fat Man Moving. Like it should have been like code words, stuff
Right,
like
of
that.
course. Yeah, not gonna put his name on. Really?
Right.
What if they get busted? Oh, who owns the truck? Oh, it's Fisk. It just doesn't make any sense. It's not who he is, right? He's,
Like, there's a reason why Tony Stark has his name and everything. Everybody knows he's Iron Man.
Exactly.
You don't put your
he's
name on
narcissistic
something if you don't.
That's
Yeah.
Right. Fine. But this guy is underground. He doesn't remain anonymous from from the public, right? He was under. That's what he does. His name would never be on there. But it's just he survived the shot. That's annoying itself. But whatever. Fine. Whatever. We knew it was a lie, so we had time to complain about that for like 6-7 months. Right. So fine.
Right.
Whatever. But it's just this show would have been better if he wasn't involved in it. It really would have been.
I like his involvement in it because, like,
it was to the expense of the rest of the story, right? Because you could have done a cool story of her, like, going back home, right? And she wants to be the next Queenpin while leaving New York, but whatever, fine. She runs away.
I'll tell you, this series should have been called Kingpin.
Well, yeah, fine.
This series should have been called Kingpin.
That's what I'm saying. There's like 2 or 3 shows in here, and they don't know which one.
And the show should have been called Kingpin, and it should have been Maya trying to take over his turf.
Yes.
And her and him trying to decide, do I kill this woman that I think is family, while still showing people I'm the kingpin of crime.
Right?
That would have been a great series.
If you really want to focus on Echo, then focus on Echo. That's fine. Because listen,
focus on Echo.
There was good stuff in there, right? She could have gone home to hide out, replenish, whatever, and then reconnect with a family she hasn't seen or known for years.
How much cooler?
That would have been more interesting, right?
How much cooler would it have been? She reconnected her family, and there's a section of her tribe that's broke bad. Maybe
that's what I'm saying, and she helps.
And now she's got to. And they're like, "You broke bad. Well, who are you to tell us what to do?" And now you have to deal with that moral conundrum. Like, I went bad, but I'm realizing I made a mistake.
But it's part of that redemption arc, which that
would have been a cool.
That's what I'm saying. And you could not even done Kingpin. He would have been in the background first episode, maybe some flashbacks. Fine.
Oh no, I'll do one better. It turns out that gang works for the Kingpin.
That was my other thing. That was the other way around. If she goes back there to hide or whatever, she finds out that Fisk is running stuff through her tribe. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know this." And now they know who she is and going after her. She's protecting the family.
Right.
I forget about Kingpin. Kingpin's in the background. He's there, but not right. That would be more interesting. And then you focus on her. Because the one really good scene in this show was between her and the grandmother. Right. Really cool scene. But that's really like the only scene they got together. One scene in 5 episodes. I mean, that would have been so cool to have them interact and been at odds and come together,
But as a nerd, and if you are a Echo fan, if you're there, everybody knows, part of Echo's costume is she gets a white palm face on her hand, on print like that. So it's a white palm, and she's got feathers, like just 2, and they're kind of dangle out a little bit. But like, it would have been great to see her go to war with the faction of her tribe that broke bad, and she has to get medieval on them, like ancient battle. That would have been so dope.
Because we
never got any of that.
And this is my last point, and that would have been great because then we root for her. We're not rooting for her now. We're not rooting for her. It's like, okay, she's bad and wants to be Queenpin. What are we rooting for?
Listen,
okay.
Here's the problem. It's crazy that I have to bring this up. Did you ever hear the story methodology from the guys who do South Park, Trey Parker and Matt Stone? They said, the way you tell a good story versus a bad story is a bad story, you go, and then. A good story is, and then, but then, but then, and there was never a but then. It was and then.
Maybe at the very end, where it's too late.
Yeah,
it's too late. And it's like, because you're right, the powers, it's ridiculous. It's nonsense. It's like, really,
they should have never given her powers.
This is what we're about.
They should have never given you powers.
Like the ancestral thing could have been an inspiration, right, for her, and say, but not power. It's just like, what am I watching?
And here's the thing: if you're one of these nerds going, but like Echo got the Phoenix Force in the Avengers recently. Yeah. That's cool. You could have said that ancestral thing was her version of the Phoenix Force, but then tell that story.
Right, exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Exactly. It's like no one. It's just there was no correlation between that and people around her family. Like no one knew exactly what that was. Right. That should have been the show. Or you're right. Or go the Kingpin route. Either one would have been great. They just gave us both. And neither one really reached any good heights that they should have, and that's the problem with the show. It wasn't a good show. It's not a good way to start for Marvel. It just is.
To me, I take Echo like Aquaman 2. it was the last zombie corpse of an idea that was done badly.
You're right, and this was the remnants of prior, right? But
Right,
but
exactly.
but they chose to release it, and this is what they gave us, and it's
I
it's
mean,
not a good
listen,
show.
I'm sure they asked, can we pull it back, girl, and claim this is all gonna be? And
I wish they had done that. I really
I
do.
wish they would have, but
You know what?
they're like,
You know what
we're
this?
not
You know what?
DC,
You know what this?
we own it. So
This taints Daredevil moving forward. Like I was excited because like they're maybe gonna do it right now. Right? I hated what they're gonna do, and I was very vocal about that. But now I'm like,
I disagree. It doesn't taint it to me. It just goes, hey, remember Iron Fist? Yeah, in 6 months we won't remember this either.
Just for me, just like just the confidence they give us a good based on this version of Kingpin, which was better than Hawkeye.
Better than Hawkeye,
but not the Kingpin we need. You're right. That scene at the end. Come on, really, Mayor? What? Come on. Those wheels should have already been in motion. You know what I'm saying?
If you're watching New York 1 on your private jet, that's not the first time you watch New York 1 on your private jet.
It's not news.
So
elections build up over a long period. He knows. Say elections. Come on. It's just and that's not the Kingpin we know, right? Putting Fisk on this. I don't want to see that. I'm scared. That's the version we're gonna get in Daredevil. It's gonna taint that. It's gonna come down to the director because
I disagree because I think what it is they saw how bad Echo was, and they saw how bad what they were doing. Daredevil was like, maybe. We need to stop, and that's why they stopped.
I hope so. I really do.
Build up, ground one, let's go.
I really do, because I know X-Men's animated. I'm not gonna get to that. We got ethical Harkness. Who cares? We said that nobody cares about, and I have no confidence in this show. There's no reason to get confident in this show at all.
If it's fun, it's gonna be by accident.
Agreed. Totally agree. It's just that's old Marvel as far as I'm concerned. The new Marvel starts with. You can count Deadpool, but I said Deadpool's never really Marvel, and it's not. I'll stand by that.
I will say new Marvel starts with Deadpool. That's me.
It's more Fox, but it's an established Fox character. To be fair, right? So it's like I said, it's harder to fuck that up because we have it.
Right.
I mean, they could have fucked up Daredevil. We're never gonna know what we know, but we're not gonna see that. But point is, it's gonna start with Captain America, which was rewritten. We talked about that.
Right.
So we'll know what direction they're really gonna go in next year.
Yes.
But man, this year is just with Sony and this. Oh, this is a bad year for us, dude. We can't just rely. Deadpool won't save the year. It really won't.
Deadpool won't save the year, but it'll give us a streak to go on.
Right? Yeah. It's like a second. It was like and then by December we're like, oh my god, we're on fumes. Wow, we're not watching any of this shit anymore. Where's Rebel Moon 3? When they beg you to make another Rebel Moon,
do yourself a favor. Just watch Seven Samurai and the Magnificent Seven. It's better versions of that.
I swear to God, if Rebel Moon is the best thing, Part 2 is the best thing this year, this is a serious problem. Oh my God.
Listen, there's no way that Deadpool 3 is going to be worse than Rebel Moon 2. There's no way. So you're wrong.
Listen, I think it's going to be good.
So it's not going to be the best thing. It'll just be a thing.
God forbid. I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. God forbid. Oh my God. Rebel Moon 2 is Oh my God. So listen, it's a bad way to start the year. Let's just be honest. It's a bad way to end the year, bad way to start the year. But
not the worst way. But it was rough. But it wasn't ideal. It wasn't ideal. We didn't talk about this. I will say, thoroughly enjoyed What If Season 2. That was a nice way to dismount the year. It was fun.
It was fun. Nothing you're shouting, but it was fine. And
no, it was just fun.
Yeah, it was solid. Just fun. Okay, great. So, but then they go with Echo and they ruin everything, right? Whatever goodwill built.
That's what I'm saying.
Here we go again.
Which is crazy because they had a Native American episode, which was great. So that's
that
what I'm saying.
Was more interesting than what they did in Echo.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't understand, and that's the old regime. It's so frustrating. Like they gave us a good story about Native American, really focus on the culture and what it meant, and then they give us Echo. I mean, come on, guys, it's bad. It's really bad.
You gotta have people talk to each other. If you're gonna do stuff like that, you gotta talk. What are you doing? Oh, that's cool. Maybe we can do something like that. Like it's something, man.
Yeah, because that was a cooler story. Yeah, that's how you do it right. That's how you do it.
That's what I'm saying. Do you have it in you? You have it in you. It's not like you
in
can't
30
do
minutes,
it. You
mind
have
you,
it
in 30 minutes. Here we have 3 hours, whatever it is.
5 hours.
No, it's not 5 hours. It's like whatever, 4 or 3 hours, whatever it was. It doesn't matter. Significantly more time, and you gave a shit. I don't understand. With better tools, mind you. Better ingredients. They were all there. Kingpin, Daredevil, Echo, whatever.
Look, if they would have said that the reason why Echo had these magical powers because it was connected to that, I would have been like, cool, I'll let it pass. That would have been better.
It would
Not
have been more
great, but it would have been
palatable.
better.
Agreed, if that, but obviously they weren't gonna tie it in.
Of
Yeah.
course not, but that's what I'm saying. Like, if you like, it's so not her character to have those
Yeah,
powers that unless you were doing a big pull from the Phoenix storyline or that, if you're not doing that, that works.
With Echo, and this is the last thing before signing off, is the ability to echo mimic others. That's what makes her so dangerous, right? That's what makes her so dangerous.
That's
and
what I'm
you strip
saying.
that away. It's like, oh God, why? And give her powers to give her the upper hand against anybody for that point. There was no match.
How much cooler would that? How much cooler would that Daredevil scene been if she started fighting like him?
I'm saying, and this, just a position between his no hearing and her, and his no sight with her no hearing. How cool that would have been. You could have gotten really creative.
That's why she worked in the comics.
You could have gotten really.
That's why she worked in the comics.
Creativity with that. Oh my God, that's a good director would have taken that and said, "Oh man, the sound, the sight."
Oh yeah,
it's there. It's all there. I don't understand. It's all here. It is. They gave you all the best meats and best ingredients, and you give us a hamburger and cheese fries, shitty cheese fries. It doesn't make sense to me. It's bad. I hope it gets better. We got Man of Web coming up. Oh my God.
About Sony. Sony's account.
It's gonna count. That's all we have. Oh my God, this may not get any better, dude. We got Doom 2, for what it's worth. Whatever, but still, either way, listen. It has to get better because God damn it, I can't take a full year of this crap. I really can't. I don't want to see crap. We got The Boys though, so that could save us.
Boys,
but again, it's only one show. That's not enough. Even with Deadpool. But either way, listen, things get better. Marvel, it is what it is. Whatever. 2025 can't get here fast enough. I swear to God. Already in January. This is bad. But listen, we're going to have more news, I'm sure, to talk about. I mean, Comic-Con might bring us a lot of hope. In middle of we got Deadpool and then Comic-Con, kind of close together.
Good combination.
Talk about getting the second win, right? At least get us excited for something, because we're gonna need something to get excited about by the time December rolls around.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Absolutely.
Something to hang my hats on. So yeah, let's see. It is what it is. But that being said, those are the nuggets at the beginning of the year, Eric.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Once again, we appreciate you kicking off 2024 with us. We're so glad to be back. We got a lot of stuff coming up for you this year. And really excited. So keep on following us here on the Latin Nerd Network on YouTube. Don't forget to follow us on the social medias at Nerdsplaining Pod on Instagram, at Nerdsplaining _ on X, Twitter. Let us know what you thought about this episode. Let us know what you thought about Rebel Moon or Echo or What If. We want to hear all your opinions. Of course, don't forget to check out the original audio episodes at ericdasilva.com, EricDasilva.com. All the original audio episodes are for free. I'm going back on the road doing stand-up comedy. I'm going to be in Columbus, Georgia, Thursday, January 20th, 18th, and then January 20th, I'm going to be at The Block in Fort Walton, Alabama. If you're there, come check me out. I'm working a whole new hour of material. Told you you're getting out there. Let you know more about the show as well. If you are a nerd with kids and you want to bond together with a fun kid comic book, check out my comic book Danger Squad. I have an announcement with pretty soon about a publisher. I know, exciting. Got stuff coming about that, so let you know about that. Don't forget to check out other shows on the Latin Nerd Network, like The Watch List, That Is Yours, and of course, Nerdsplaining. Once again, I have been Eric Da Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know, now you know. Boom.